The Supreme Court on Monday avoided a high-profile case by rejecting appeals from Kansas and Louisiana in their effort to strip Medicaid money from Planned Parenthood over the dissenting votes of 3 justices. The court's order reflected a split among its conservative justices and an accusation from Justice Clarence Thomas that his colleagues seemed to be ducking the case for political reasons. New Justice Brett Kavanaugh was among the justices who opted not to hear the case. The case was one of a number of disputes working their way up to the Supreme Court over the legality of state-imposed restrictions involving abortion. The 2 states were appealing lower court rulings that had blocked them from withholding money that is used for health services for low-income women. The money is not used for abortions. Abortion opponents have said Planned Parenthood should not receive any government money because of heavily edited videos that claim to show the nation's largest abortion provider profiting from sales of fetal tissue for medical research. Investigations sparked by the videos in several states didn't result in criminal charges. The dispute at the High Court has nothing to do with abortion, as Thomas pointed out in a dissent that was joined by Justices Samuel Alito and Neil Gorsuch. Kavanaugh's decision not to join the 3 justices was his first discernible vote on the court. Had he or Chief Justice John Roberts voted to hear the case, there would have been the 4 votes necessary to set the case for arguments. So what explains the court's refusal to do its job here? Thomas wrote, "I suspect it has something to do with the fact that some respondents in these cases are named Planned Parenthood. That makes the court's decision particularly troubling, as the question presented has nothing to do with abortion. The issue is who has the right to challenge a state's Medicaid funding decisions, private individuals or only the federal government." Louisiana and Kansas announced Republican-backed plans to terminate funding for Planned Parenthood through Medicaid after an anti-abortion group released videos in 2015 purporting to show Planned Parenthood executives negotiating the for-profit sale of fetal tissue and body parts. Planned Parenthood denied the allegations and called the videos heavily edited and misleading. The organization's affiliates in each state, as well as several patients, sued in federal court to maintain the funding. The New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in 2016 blocked Louisiana's Medicaid cuts, saying the action would harm patients. The Fifth Circuit said no one disputed that Planned Parenthood was actually qualified to provide the medical services it offers, and the state was seeking to cut funding for reasons unrelated to its qualifications. In February, the Denver-based 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Kansas could not block funding because states may not terminate providers from their Medicaid program for any reason they see fit. Many social and religious conservatives in the United States have argued against government funding of Planned Parenthood, and Republican politicians have made efforts at the state and federal level to eliminate public funding for abortion services. Lena Wen, president of the Planned Parenthood Federation of America, praised the court's action, saying in a statement, "Every person has a fundamental right to health care, no matter who they are, where they live, or how much they earn." Kansas Governor Jeff Collier, a Republican, said in a statement, "We regret today's decision from the U.S. Supreme Court announcing that it fell 1 vote short of taking our case against Planned Parenthood." Catherine Glenn Foster, president and CEO of the Anti-Abortion Americans United for Life, said the court should have heard the case. But the good news is that there are other similar cases pending in lower courts, which may give the Supreme Court another opportunity to decide this important issue. In the meantime, all will continue to fight to protect states from being forced to use their limited public funds to subsidize abortion businesses, Foster said. Legal battles over other laws from Republican-led states could reach the court in the next year or two. Some seek to ban abortions in early pregnancy, including Iowa's prohibition after a fetal heartbeat is detected. Others impose difficult-to-meet regulations on abortion providers, such as having formal ties, called admitting privileges, at our local hospital. The cases from Kansas and Louisiana did not challenge the constitutionality of abortion itself.